Okay, our second movie, How Do You Know? With Reese Witherspoon and Paul Rudd, who I have a man crush on.
Don't tell Patrick Wilson.
Exactly.
But I mean, there's room for all of them.
All right.
Right. I mean, if I were gay, I would get around.
Right. If they're willing to share
clearly.
you.
And then Jack Nicholson and
Owen Wilson.
that guy.
So you're not gay.
You like
for it.
those guys too?
Take him or leave him.
How Do You Know? This is from James L. Brooks. This is from someone who should know better. This movie is shockingly bad, and it never works for a second. And it's about Reese Witherspoon playing this softball player who gets cut from the U.S. team at 31. She's at the lowest point in her life. Paul Rudd is under federal investigation for financial crimes he did not commit. He's at the lowest point of his life. They're supposed to get slammed together in a blind date. They have zero chemistry. There's also Owen Wilson out there as a pitcher for the Washington Nationals, which I didn't believe for a second. And then there's Jack Nicholson ranting in like 3 scenes.
Screwed up. Not from my perspective.
Taxi?
No, I just have to figure out where I'm going.
Let me ask you something. How do you know when you're in love? Anyone?
I got a way. Figure I'm in love with somebody when I wear a condom with the other girls.
Holy crap, I'm in love.
What sort of trouble are you in, George?
Currently unemployed. I'll soon run out of money, and I'm the target of a federal investigation.
You're a real chick magnet, aren't you?
Son, we are in a rapidly evolving situation.
Don't tell me.
George,
Are you gonna make me literally run from bad news?
you do not have the luxury of not...
That really was a great trailer to establish what I think is the truth about this movie. First of all, you heard at the end of the trailer right there, Jack Nicholson saying, "You do not have the luxury." And for a brief minute, it was A Few Good Men. I mean, like for a second and a half.
Not even
You
a
do not have the luxury. Right. Weinberg.
want me on this wall.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Who's going to do it? You? Weinberg? Who? You? Jew? But you hated this.
I hated this because it has zero chemistry. Like, none of the potential permutations of this love triangle make any sense to anybody at all. Reese Witherspoon is supposed to be, I don't know what she's supposed to be even. That's a great question. She's a softball player, and she has these little facile little self-help nuggets on Post-it notes on her bathroom mirror, and that's all we know about her.
Right, because she doesn't even appear to live her life according to those notes.
No.
That we see those, and we're supposed to. That's what she is. But then she doesn't really behave like someone.
She spouts them out.
Yeah, occasionally,
she doesn't actually
but not even
do them.
Right, she didn't even spout them
Right.
out that much. It just seemed, nothing seemed connected to anything else.
Yeah, she and Paul Rudd make no sense. She's
Yeah, but-
all gooey and whiny.
I thought she and Paul Rudd started to make a little sense with that scene that they had toward the end at his apartment.
When they get drunk.
Yeah, when they got drunk. There was a little, like, I could see why those two people would like each other, and, if he, way I get women is I wear them down. Right? It's like, man,
That's your strategy?
this guy's totally annoying. I work with him, and they're totally bothered with me day after day after day. Stop trying to be funny. You're not funny. And then all of a sudden, after 2 months, they laugh. And then we're getting coffee, and then they live with me.
Women of the world,
Yeah.
take note. This is Ben's strategy, so
Totally.
just know to look for it now.
Yeah, it's totally how it works. And I thought that he was in position to begin that process. And I
Okay.
thought her chemistry with Owen Wilson was plausible in the sense only that she would be like, things have gone poorly, I'm going to have a fling.
He's
But
at least
nothing more.
fun.
He was at least fun. I mean, he was a little clownish, but he was fun.
Yeah. You?
I didn't hate this movie.
Yeah, neither did I.
I mean, that's damning with faint praise. I didn't hate it. There are worse movies I've seen. I went in expecting that this was going to be just god awful, and I thought I could at least sit through it. I wasn't offended by it. It's like when the Beverly Hillbillies comes on TV. It's not offensive. I can
Right.
sit through this.
Wow, so it's like the Beverly Hillbillies.
But you don't expect Beverly Hillbillies from James L. Brooks.
No, that's true. I probably should expect more. I'd like to think that I would, but if you look at his last couple movies,
Spanglish.
I like
You know,
Spanglish a lot.
I like Adam Sandler in Spanglish.
I like the whole movie. It made me have a crush on Tia Leone.
Oh, she's a girl.
I really liked Spanglish. Yeah.
But
She's a girl?
She is. No. But
Forget
no,
it. No, I'm not interested anymore.
No, there are a couple of moments though where you can see the characters straining to achieve one of those "you make me want to be a better man" moments,
Yeah.
and they never happen. Like there's one speech that Paul Rudd gives about how someone should love you for who you are, the way you are, but who is she?
Right.
She's never
right.
defined.
No, I mean really, the movie almost feels like a bunch of sitcom scenes kind of strung together.
Right, a sitcom that gets canceled.
With this whole subplot about Paul Rudd trying to clear his name. Like, it's a whole other movie.
And from what? Like, I mean, it's so vague. Like, just financial dealings and was someone else involved and who's the real criminal? And we know it's not him because it's Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It was, you know, I didn't hate it the way you did because I could deal with the plausibility of the romances. And I like looking at Reese Witherspoon.
She's in really good shape for this.
Yeah, she looks great.
She's a softball player.
And I like the idea of a sexy female softball player.
Although you never actually see her playing softball.
No, because she can't do it. But I don't think Owen Wilson can play baseball because I can't do it sitting down. But here's like Owen Wilson running after her.
This is not the Tom Cruise hands.
It's like,
It's not Tom Cruise running.
That guy's not an athlete.
Right, he's sitting
not
in the
a ball player.
bullpen in a Nationals uniform, and then there's some tossed off
He
line
looks like
about.
the Bat Boy compared to the rest of the guys.
No, there's some line about how he makes $14 million a year as a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. I'm like, I'm not impressed. Steven Strasburg can throw like what? 102?
100, okay. But just,
Bobby James can throw 103.
if you can locate a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, you're going to pitch for 18 years. So I didn't hate it, but what's interesting, $200 million for Tron, right? That's the number that we've been bandied about. This was $120 million, and $50 million just for the money to the big names. Reese Witherspoon, how much? What's her quote? What do you think? Just it's a fun game.
Probably 15 million.
Look at you, Owen Wilson's quote.
10?
What's the point of playing with you guys when you have all the frickin' answers?
I'm guessing. So like Jack Nicholson.
All right, hold on.
Okay, no.
JR, come on, Jack Nicholson. What does Jack Nicholson make in a movie?
20.
20. All right, finally somebody who
He's
fucked
in
up.
like 6 scenes. He's not even in 6 scenes.
Still, $12 million. You're not that far off. Old Jack Nicholson, 70-year-old Jack Nicholson, $12 million. Paul Rudd gets 3. I think Paul and James Brooks, 10.
Okay.
So $50 million just committed to salaries. You know, I've said in the past when Paul Rudd nails a movie like I Love You, Man, and Role Models, that he has a little Cary Grant in him. I mean, he's not, you know, as dashing, but he has that same sort of really likability that you trust him instantly, and he can be funny. He's got great comic timing that he shares, and it was not here.
He's almost a stalker in this.
Yeah,
he's like gooey and goofy and.
You saw in the
clingy.
trailer, he's like running after her, and he tries to do that hard stop, and he didn't even do the hard stop. It's like he couldn't. It just all felt like it felt hammy.
And he falls for her after they had this weird blind date where they don't speak to each other over dinner, and then as she walks away, he's like mystically smitten. By her.
Why was he so smitten by
Makes
her
no sense.
after that? Because she was kind of sharp. All right, the ratings, Matt.
I'm giving this a 5. It probably should be lower, but I'm giving it an extra point for casting the guy who was not Balky in Perfect Strangers
What did
as
that
the
guy?
lawyer at the beginning.
Oh, that guy. Right. The
Mark-
lawyer at the beginning with another
yeah.
with another inexplicable scene about how they can't talk to each other anymore.
Right.
Like, why? What's that about?
1.5.
Oy. Ooh.
It was lighted very flatteringly. We can play the game I'm so fond of. Janusz Kaminski.
Is it lighted and not lit?
lighted?
Really?
Yeah.
Look at you, the AP
Right?
reporter showing
Like
off.
like you light a cigarette, but the parking lot is lighted.
I don't know. I would think is your cigarette lit?
But the point is,
But the
Janusz-
parking lot.
The
wouldn't-
lighting is very flattering.
Right.
No, let's talk about this a
Janusz,
little more. Let's
Janusz
break
is a
this-
pro.
break
We need
this
to
down.
consult the style book on this.
I gave it a 4.7 because it's the most forgettable movie you'll see all year. That's my point. But I didn't hate it. What struck me is that it wasn't funny and it wasn't interesting.
Where does the 4.7 come from then? Why does it even get that?
You make
Because in spite of that, you're not checking your watch. You're like,
Christy makes a totally fair point. If it wasn't funny
Sometimes I do.
and it wasn't interesting, you could argue. Like if I had to give it a 1.7, I could. But I didn't hate it. I was puzzled by it the entire time. Like, why isn't this funny? Like, why isn't anything funny? I've overrated it.
I think it's, I don't know,
this
I
is how
think it's a good
committed I am.
example of a movie that's well crafted, that in spite of having a weak storyline and weak chemistry and no good jokes, you'll sit through because they did it so well.
I'm pulling it back.
Thank
Nice
you.
point.
Thank you.
Matt saved
Thank
me.
you.
So I'm at 4.7. That's going to pull the overall grade to a 4.7.